Hey, Eric Music here. Welcome to the Subscription Box Show. And if you enjoy this podcast or it has even helped your business in any way, then I'd ask you to please consider supporting the show by visiting the subscriptionboxshow.locals.com. Any dollar amount would be a blessing to us. Thank you so much for considering. Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you? Sorry, I guess I was in the wrong link.
Yeah, did I send you the wrong one? The same one as I just...
No, there's a Google Meet link in there as well.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. I think it automatically takes because my Google Calendar kind of switches it, eh?
Yeah, I always default to Google Meet.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome back. It's been a long time. This is recording, so it's live. We're just gonna kind of roll with this here. So, welcome back to the show. It's been a long time since your episode was like, I don't know, 200 episodes ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, about that.
All right.
So I guess we'll just start by catching up here. Are you still in the beautiful Lone Star State here?
Sure I am. Still in Dallas. Spent last night in the ER getting some stitches from a little hockey accident. So got to bed a little late. I'm a little tired this morning, but we'll get it rolling.
You'll get through it. Yeah. Were you playing in your men's league? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Right on. I remember last time we spoke was kind of surprised by the hockey scene in Dallas. It's quite and you're into it a lot. You go to a lot of Dallas Stars games?
Yeah, I go to quite a few.
Yeah. Did you see the highlights on the Jets game last night? As we're recording this, I guess it's March 2nd here.
I did not. No.
We played the Habs. It was they got up 4-0 in the first within the first 10 minutes. Habs come back by the end of the first, make it 4-3. They tie it quickly in the second, 4-4. Jets win 8-4. It was a crazy game. It was just one of those really fun games to watch, but like probably a nightmare if you're a coach.
Yeah, you see the 10-7
Leafs
game the other night.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes these things they blow off, but yeah. Do you have a particular? Are you actually a Stars fan? And you have?
Yeah, I kind of interestingly enough grew up a Penguins fan.
Crosby.
And then when I moved it. Yeah, so I actually wasn't a huge Crosby fan at the beginning. He's certainly grown on me, and obviously there's no doubt, in his talent. I love him now, but when I was younger, I just kind of had this stigma that he was kind of whiny. But yeah, I grew up a Penguins fan somehow, and then when I moved out here, became a season ticket holder, and so kind of slowly made the transition to the Stars over the last 8 years.
Sagan or Ben or none of the above?
I'm a Ben fan for sure.
Yeah, he plays the right way, doesn't he? Like he's just a mean. He's got a mean streak that I love about him. He's just like one of those dudes you don't want to piss off.
Yeah, he can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's my style for sure. Cool. Well, I guess we'll just kind of get into it. Tell me about Southern Scholar. For those who you guys are watching here, if you never heard, I don't know, were you episode 11 back when we first recorded? I'm not too sure, but Kevin's the founder of Southern Scholar, which is I'm going to say a premium sock subscription box out of Dallas. So what's new with Southern Scholar, and maybe bring us up to date since we last spoke?
Yeah, well, actually, remind me, how long ago was it that we spoke?
It would have been pretty much 2 years ago.
2 years? Okay. Yeah. So see if my timeline's correct. We still have the subscription aspect, but we've kind of switched focus to one-time orders, just more like standard e-commerce. So now we operate where the subscription is a discounted route you can go rather than the only route you can go. For the first few years in business, we were subscription box only. As Eric said, we make premium men's dress socks. We're a direct-to-consumer menswear company that focuses in dress socks. But yeah, the last couple of years, we've started to offer all of our products for sale in our shop at a higher price point. And if you want to save some money, you can go the subscription route. We've also launched ties and pocket squares, which I can't recall if we had those last time we spoke or not. But yeah, slowly expanding the product lines. We're about to launch some no-show socks and things like that.
What does that mean? What is that? Is that like a line?
No-show socks, like
oh, I see what you mean. Like ankle.
Yeah, very, very low cut. they'll actually be the first no-show socks in the market that you can wear with a true cut penny loafer, and still not see any of them. So I'm excited about that. A lot of the time with no-show socks, if you are wearing a lower cut loafer or lower cut dress shoe, you can kind of see the corners of the socks, so not the ideal look. So I'm excited to get those released and see what people think about them.
Yeah, you know what? Those no-show socks are something else. I remember the first time I put one on, I couldn't stand my feet. It was always, and I thought I bought it. It was a good brand, quote unquote. It was like
right.
I want to say it was like Guess, or I don't know, one of those like Tommy or something. I don't know what it was, but I thought it was a decent brand, and it was garbage. It just kept falling off my ankle. It was like a one size fits all, but that just slipped off. It was always like in the middle of my foot. So I started wearing no socks with kind of like my loafers, and then I finally found a decent pair. I think it was from Bench. They held better. They had like this little grippy thing that kind of like
on the back.
Yeah, that kind of stood on. But again, it showed too much. So either I was stuffing it back in my shoe, or just going shoeless until my shoes stank enough from the foot sweat that I couldn't wear them anymore. So
yeah, it's a hard balance, and that's why there's not anything out there yet. It's gotta come high enough on your heel to hold, but it can't come so high that it shows over the shoe. We have them very low cut across, kind of just above your toes. So that is what allows it to not kind of show those corners, right? But yeah, the silicone grips in the back help with holding it on if you don't want to make that huge like scooped heel. But yeah, we've been actually working on these for a couple of years, so I'm excited to get them out there this spring or summer and see what people have to say.
Right on. So we're going to be looking forward to that. So you said kind of briefly there, you talked about, and we'll talk about the, sourcing that maybe a little bit, because I know last time we talked on sourcing, if my mind corrects me, I think it was with you were talking about like the bait and switch and competition stealing and all these things. Like there was a lot of things. So we'll get into maybe those things and kind of see where that's at with Southern Scholar. But yeah, what's the reason behind that? Is it, subscription fatigue in your own audience? Is it just trying to, add more orders through, and not just, I guess, targeting one kind of purchaser and going more, it's easier maybe to acquire customers through the one-time purchase?
Yeah. So just widening the net. It's definitely easier and less expensive to acquire a customer for a one-time purchase than it is for a subscription. Especially because so many people have so many issues with dress socks as far as fit or comfort or durability, or whether or not they stay up. And all of these brands make these claims that they're the best dress socks, or they stay up guaranteed, blah 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 blah, and people are tired of buying them and finding out that they don't do that. So when you have a premium price point on something like a dress sock that cannot be tried on in a retail store, people are hesitant to sign up to something that feels like a commitment, even if it is, a cancel anytime subscription. People are hesitant to sign up for it without trying the product. So offering that one-time solution helps people, pull the trigger on that first purchase. As soon as they have the socks in hand, they realize how incredible they are. And they either decide, hey, I'm going to go back and I'm going to buy, 5, 6, 7 pairs from the shop, or I want one a month, I'll sign up for the subscription. So it was originally more of an acquisition play. But we've come to find out that quite a few people are willing to pay. I mean, a majority of people actually are willing to pay a higher price point to just grab what they want when they want it and select their styles, than sign up for the subscription. Now, don't get me wrong, we have people that absolutely love the subscription, the surprise aspect, or we do allow people to select their style each month if they choose. It's kind of up to you if you like the surprise aspect or not. And people love the subscription, and we don't plan on getting rid of the subscription by any means. But it has definitely, the one-time kind of e-commerce, standard e-commerce side has definitely become the bulk of our business over the past couple of years.
Well, that's interesting. Like it's funny because a lot of people are going towards subscriptions and memberships and those sort of things. And it seems like you guys are kind of like finding out that it's cheaper to acquire and to just go with a higher out. So that's, now, is it maybe a trend in the industry of socks itself? Or is it maybe, what's the biggest?
I think that anybody that's in the subscription business would tell you that it is more expensive to acquire a customer for a subscription.
For sure.
No matter what the scenario is, as far as your cancellation policy, your refund policy, cancel, modify, edit anytime, people still have not everybody, but there are people out there that still have that kind of stigma in the back of their mind that it's a commitment. They're signing up for a commitment. And so it is going to cost more to acquire those customers for that. And there's still an audience out there, surprisingly, that isn't familiar with how the monthly subscription model works. So there's a little bit of friction there in the sign up process or in the messaging they may not understand. We still get emails all the time from people. And this is not picking on anybody here, but our audience is a little bit older than you would probably expect. So we'll get emails from people that are confused on whether or not they can buy a pair or if they have to sign up for a subscription or how a subscription works. So I think anybody in this industry would tell you that it is certainly cheaper to acquire a customer, specifically from paid ads for a cheaper for a non-subscription product than it would be for a subscription product. The idea with the subscription, from the seller's standpoint, is that you can likely increase lifetime value.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Now, one thing to keep in mind from a cash flow perspective, if you are going to go ahead and offer a one-time option, if your business is in a space that has variety, like dress socks, for example, we have 100+ styles in our shop. If somebody goes the subscription route, minimum purchase is going to be $15. Maximum purchase is going to be $165, which is our annual. Or I guess technically it could be up to $200 if they're going with the over the calf option. And that's going to be spread over 12 months. We're going to collect that $200 up front. We're going to send out a pair every month for 12 months. Or if they go monthly, we're going to collect that $15. We'll collect $15 every month that they stay on after that. Or someone can go into the shop. They can buy 5 pairs at $22. They're spending over $100 on their first order. And they're more likely to come back instead of 30 days later for their subscription, get a second pair. They're more likely to come back and spend another $100 or another $200. So we've actually found that average order value for first time orders is much higher on the one time. They're more likely to come back for a higher value repeat purchase quicker than they would if they were on the subscription. So lifetime value on the e-commerce customer is a little bit higher. Now,
that's crazy. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like the subscription model is going away, because that is certainly the opposite of the truth. I think for our industry, or anybody that has, so much variety in their product, most subscription businesses don't have 100 SKUs, right? And we've got far above that. But because of the variety, and because there are people out there that are just menswear enthusiasts, or sock enthusiasts, when they get into our shop, we'll get orders for 35 pairs, on the regular, because people are just, I like this style, I like this style, I like this style, I like this style. They're thinking about what they can pair it with in their closet. They're thinking about, what pair of shoes it goes with, what suit it goes with. So when you have that kind of variety, it gives people more options, right? So I would say we've slowly transitioned to we're probably getting close to the 70-30%, 70 e-commerce, 30 subscription, whereas 2.5 years ago, we were 100% subscription, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. And at the beginning, when we opened up the e-commerce side, we didn't even advertise it. And we even tried to hide it. So I ran a little test where we launched the e-commerce shop where you did not need a member's login to purchase. I did not advertise it. I did not put a button anywhere on the website, but underneath the subscribe tab, I had a little menu button for shop. Simple as that. I just wanted to see how much of our traffic was actually searching around the website for a way to buy without a subscription. And we had Hotjar set up and everything so we could follow along. And it was nuts how with that, without mentioning that we've made this change or opened up this option in paid ads, without sending out a single email about it, it was crazy how many people were finding that shop button and going in and placing orders. So after probably about 60 days, I think it was 2 months, I think we opened it in late November, early December, and I ended up making the announcement and obviously making it easier to find that shop by February of the following year. So just a couple of months in, we decided we'll give it a shot. We'll see. We raised the price point quite a bit. And yeah, we were kind of on the ground running, and that's been a big part of our growth. Just from a cash flow standpoint, having a lower acquisition cost and a higher upfront average order value, that's huge for cash flow, and it also helps fuel the subscription side of things as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you made some great points there. I think when it comes to the shop thing, like first of all, the Hotjar, if people are not aware of what Hotjar is, you can just Google it. You can apply it to your store. It's a free app. And you can kind of track what people are doing. So you'll see people, if they're on a desktop, 80% of your people are on mobile phones. So you're just going to see the screen go up and down. And when they click on the menu, you're going to see where they click, and you can follow them where they fall off, where they're going, and where they eventually bounce from the site, or if they go right to the checkout. So it's a cool app for that. We've used it a ton. And then you mentioned like for the shop stuff, like, you mentioned the SKUs. We actually have, I'm looking at it right now, like we're at 149 SKUs. So I think like entering the shop, don't get overwhelmed with this, people. Is like, you don't need a shop, but it depends on your subscription. It depends on your niche. It depends on where you're at in your business. But it does add a pretty cool thing when you're talking about or average order out. And in your case, you guys are going 70-30 in the opposite direction with the shop, because it makes sense. And also I think it matters if your quality is there, right, Kevin? Like, you guys obviously have a good product. You guys have invested a ton of money in research into your actual products. When people buy it, they're coming back. Now, if you have a product that's you can get anywhere, I think you got to be careful there, right? Because, they might not come back to or if it's not of a super high quality, like people want Kevin's socks because they're good socks. So they buy it once and they're coming back. And that's why his average order values for these e-commerce customers are so high. Now, that might not be the case for you, depending on your shop, depending on your offerings and everything else that you have in there. So just be aware of that it might not be the fix all, but it could, be a good solution if your subscription numbers are getting tired, something to maybe, experiment in and test anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's actually something I should have mentioned, and kind of what differentiates us. A lot of subscription businesses out there, their model or their value prop more so is, by signing up for the subscription, you're saving money on this common product you can get anywhere else. And that's the selling point. And so yes, at that value prop, you can lower your acquisition costs and say, hey, let's just use we'll use a simple example here. I drink these little super coffees every day, right? This is a unique product. You can get these in the store, I guess, but it's a unique product as you can't get it everywhere, right? So they have a shop and a subscription. I would venture to bet that most people purchase an individual, bottle or pack of these to see if they like them, realize they do, and say, why wouldn't I subscribe to save money? Okay. Now, if you're selling generic standard diapers that you can get anywhere, your only value prop, if you're doing a subscription and on that subscription, is going to be price, is going to be, if you sign up for a subscription, they're going to be cheaper. So in that case, yes, the subscription is a brilliant idea. You're gonna be fine. With a product like ours that's completely unique, that you cannot physically get anywhere else, that's different than anything else on the market, the value prop isn't the price point. Our price is actually much higher than most retail sock brands. So that's kind of I'm kind of twisting my whole thing here, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
When you're not competing on price, when that's not your only value prop, the subscription isn't as much of a sell.
And the
So
curation too, right? Like you have socks. Like it's not
right.
like, so yeah, there's a surprise every month of which sock design I'm gonna get, but it's not like there's 4 or 5 products in there that people like for our box, for example, right? People get 4 or 5 items in their box.
Right.
It's a surprise. There's all it can be all it's a range of things, whereas it's not just one thing. I don't know if that makes any sense to what you're.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The other point I was going to say is like your price point. You put it higher. Did you ever initially put it higher? Because that's not uncommon in subscriptions. We do the same thing. If you just want a one-off box, it's I think it's what is it, Christine? Like, no, I know it's $59.99 for one-off, but like the percentages is something like 17 or 18% higher. So it's almost 20% more to just buy that one-off. But people will still do
On
it.
y'all's box.
Yeah, but if you subscribe, right, and on a 12-month, and then you have your tiered, your 12-month, 6-month, 3-month, whatever, month to month, right? So, I mean, did you initially do that price increase so that it was more unattractive for people, so they would go to subscription, and it just kind of like sort of like a happy accident where people ended up just buying them anyways because it worked out?
So the truth is, when I started this company, and now it's been what, 7 or 8 years, I was concerned about people being willing to spend $15 on a pair of socks, no matter how nice they were. So I started the price point at 15. It was the lowest I could go and still create enough margin for us to be successful. But with that, I also threw in a bunch of other kind of incentives to make it worth the $15. One of them being a very, very expensive and fancy looking packaging, so that every time you opened up your subscription box, it felt like a gift, it felt like an experience. And it really was. And we've won contests and awards on our packaging. But that was kind of the idea, was will people spend $15 on a pair of socks? And then I found very quickly that yes, they will. And then we start getting emails from people that are saying, like, I can't believe I found you guys at $15 when I've been buying XYZ brand for $35. And they're not nearly as nice. They don't stay up. The quality is way lower, blah, blah, blah. And I slowly started to realize, I was like, I might have like almost shot myself in the foot, being so concerned about people being willing to spend this, pay that price for a pair of socks, because our product really is that much better. I just didn't know if I could sell people on that without them trying them on, right?
Right.
Every sock brand out there, every apparel brand in general makes these outlandish promises. How many times have you seen an ad on Facebook for the best jogger?
Yeah.
It's like 15 different brands are all advertising the best jogger, and they're all $98, right? So you don't know who to go with. But if you buy from each brand, it's very quick. It doesn't take long to figure out, okay, this one actually makes the best jogger. I'm returning the rest of these, yada, yada. So once I found out that people were not only willing to spend $15 on a pair of socks, but were actually surprised that they were so cheap, I wanted to see if we could charge a little more, because we were on a pretty razor thin margin on the subscription after acquisition costs. From a gross margin, we were right there, but from an acquisition cost, adding an acquisition cost, we were kind of thin there. So I just kind of looked at other products in the market that our customers were telling us they used to buy, and look at their price point. And I wanted to stay below that, so that we had kind of that double value prop, where it's a better product for a cheaper price, but still raise the price enough to get our margins to where we can be successful post acquisition cost. So the $22, $25, $28 range, for the mid cap and the over the cap, all kind of came to fruition through a little bit of math, and a little bit of kind of customer psychology as well. And we also, another thing with the e-commerce side of things is we found ways to increase margin aside from raising price. So on the subscription, you have this huge experience where you open up this fancy box. On the e-commerce side, you don't. And that fancy box, not only is the box itself expensive,
shipping,
but it also increases the shipping costs, right? And it also increases the time of fulfillment. So it adds all these kind of hidden costs to the customer. So we've actually recently made a switch to our subscription as well, where your first shipment comes in the fancy box and everything thereafter comes in a recycled poly mailer. And that was for multiple reasons. With everything going on with COVID over the past couple of years, we could no longer get those boxes for a time. They were also way more expensive to produce than they were prior. And they had been going up year over year, and we'd been eating the cost because we wanted to keep providing this experience. We knew our customers loved the boxes and all that. But at the same time, we were getting emails from people saying, hey, can you please stop sending me socks in these fancy boxes? It's wasteful. It's not eco-friendly. I end up just throwing them away. And so we had this kind of 50-50. We had people that would email us and tell us how much they love the box, that every time they finish doing laundry, they fold the socks up, they put them back with the style card, and they put them in the box in their drawer. So they open your drawer, you have just Southern Scholar boxes everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then we had people that were like, oh, I love these boxes. I use them to package gifts to give to friends. I use them to keep golf tees in. I use them to keep my cufflinks in. And then on the other side, we had people that were like, hey, this is so wasteful. Stop sending me this box inside of a box with a bunch of crinkle paper every single month, 12 times a year. And it just kind of started hitting me. And I was like, this is a perfect opportunity. The price of these boxes has gone way up. Now at the moment, we can't even get them with COVID and the supply chain issues. And we need to kind of start moving into a more eco-friendly setup now that we've grown so much, just kind of take that responsibility. So I used all three of those reasons, mushed them together and said, hey, here's what we'll do. We'll keep the experience on your first box. First shipment, you get the fancy box. It's a nice, unboxing experience. If you're giving a gift, they get that nice first experience. After that, some sort of recycled mailer. Increase our margins, lower our carbon footprint, expedite time to customer. I mean, we're cutting fulfillment time down there. So yeah, I mean, it was a win-win-win in my eyes. But
do you have people that came back and said, once they received their second order, being like, hey, where's my nice box? Or was like, they felt kind of like, gypped that it was, or is it not a non-factor?
So this was really, really surprising to me. I was expecting a ton of backlash. And for those of you that aren't familiar with us, I run all of our customer service still. And people love to see responses from the founder and CEO. People are constantly blown away how quickly I get back to them with a solution. But one thing about my business is I try and be as completely transparent as possible. And everything that we do is for the customer. It truly is. That's why it took me so long to make the switch from the boxes to the poly mailers, or the recycled mailers, sorry. So I sent out an email and I explained that whole situation similarly to how I just did to you guys. The price increase with inflation and COVID, the issue with the supply chain of getting the boxes themselves, the wastefulness of them. And for that reason, instead of increasing our prices, which we haven't done over the past, we've never increased the price on our subscription. Instead of increasing the prices to cover this, continued increase in costs on packaging that we've been eating for several years, we're going to switch to this first subscription, first shipment, get the box. After that, recycled mailer. I'm expecting backlash, cancellations, people, angry, and I'm ready for it. This is the right move for us. This is the responsible move. I'm ready for the backlash. Hit me, right? I wake up the next morning to, I don't even know how many emails, and 100% of them are positive.
No kidding.
Not a single negative email. All of them were, thank you. I've been waiting for this. I totally support this decision. I'd much rather, decrease my carbon footprint. I'd much rather you guys send them in these than increase prices. Like, I was blown away, absolutely blown away. And this went on for 3-4 days, more and more emails coming in, all positive. It wasn't until the 5th, 6th day, kind of a week later, that I started to get maybe 1 or 2 negative responses or 1 or 2 questions. And I would always respond. And, it was mostly people who missed the email, didn't see the explanation. So I would respond with that explain it to them. And 99% of those people who were, initially negative were like, oh, that makes total sense. I support this, blah, blah, blah. To date, it's been 6-7 months since that announcement, if I'm not mistaken. To date, I have only seen probably about 5 cancellations due to it. And a couple of other people that have expressed, hey, I think this isn't right and whatever. And we'll provide a solution for them, right? If somebody's truly upset, like, hey, when I signed up, or I did a prepay, and I got 4 boxes, and then you made this switch, I'll come up with a solution. I'll give you store credit. I'll give you a refund for a certain amount. If you're not happy, we're not happy. But thankfully, I haven't had to do that yet. I mean, everybody that has come to me with an issue, we've been able to resolve, or I've sent them that response, and they've agreed with the decision. And aside from those 5 people that have canceled due to the packaging change, everybody else, I would say those numbers are pretty solid.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I mean, it speaks to the volume of like having to test things and being able to be flexible with your business. Sometimes I think we get too caught up with like, okay, it's set up and you want to just leave it, right? But you got to always be on your toes and be ready to do stuff. And it's all about margins. They're already so slim as it is. You guys found an opportunity and made it work. Do you guys get your those recycled mailers? Do you guys get them like your own? Is it just a generic one from like No Issue, for example, that make these super? Like No Issue, I don't know if you're familiar with them. They make a really cool recycled mailer that's biodegradable and it's super eco-friendly. That's what we use, but it doesn't have our prints on it. So it doesn't say Louis and Leia on them. Do you guys do kind of like printed your own customized mailers?
No, so ours aren't even printed. We just went straight blank. Generic. Blank recycled mailer. I have spoken with them before, and I'm not at all against making the switch to them at some point. These changes happen so quick that I just went with the what I could get the quickest. This was during all the supply chain issues, which obviously we still have some. It's getting a little better, but I just wanted to make the switch as quickly as I could, because we needed something to ship these orders out when we couldn't get our subscription boxes and we were running low on them and whatever. We will probably switch to a different brand if we can find a fully recycled biodegradable mailer that we can also get printed with our logo. We'll go that route. So if you have any recommendations, feel free to send them over.
Well, No Issue is the one we use. I think they're really good. I don't know if it's something, and it's super easy to do. I'm not too sure if you can print your logo on it though. Christine, do you know if you can put your logo on those mailers from No Issue?
I think you can.
Okay. Are you looking it up right now?
Well, we've spoken with them before.
Oh, okay. And I mean, they're the most, as far as I know, I mean, if someone out there, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're the most, like, they're super eco-friendly. But we just got theirs that just says, like, relax, I'm earth friendly. Like, bring it here, Christine. I'll bring it.
Oh, that's right. No, that's right. On their recycled poly mailers, you cannot customize them, but they say, like, hey, I'm 100% recycled. I'm eco. Yeah.
Breathe easy, I'm eco-friendly, I'm 100% biodegradable, whatever. And this is not the bubble one too. Like, I don't know if you guys, so we don't need to use, this is just for we don't things. We still use our boxes for 98% of the stuff we ship out. Certain things because of the shop when we can, we'll use those mailers, but they're not bubble, nothing fancy like that. But I just want to take a quick second before we keep going here, Kevin, to thank today's sponsor, episode sponsors, which is sponsored by Liam Brennan's Subscription Box Experts Academy, which is open again. So if you are a subscription box entrepreneur who's looking to grow and you're not looking to maybe, and we're going to get into this, Kevin, maybe not looking to use someone who's like a marketing agency because you just don't have the capital to do so or the cash flow to do so, and you want to learn to do it on your own, this is probably the course for you. We've gone through it, myself and Christine, to do our own Facebook ads. We've tried agencies. We've pulled out of agencies. We've tried multiple things, and especially because of the podcast, I usually have a way to get either a free trial or a free course. And I've tried the Liam's course and it's fantastic. So I am an affiliate. I will get a cut, full transparency, but I do believe the course, I've gone through it multiple times and he keeps refreshing it as well. So even if maybe you've taken in the past and you're looking to see some new stuff that's in the industry because you took it 2 years ago, there's always new stuff. And I think I'm going to have details in the in the comments or in the show notes, depending on if you're listening or if you're looking at this episode. But just know that the course is now on, and it will be, there's some new stuff to it as well. So if you want more questions on that, you can always email me, reach out to me, Eric at the Subscription Box Show. I'd be happy to answer your questions or even tell you if it's a good fit for you. Because I've told people before they weren't there yet, it was not a good fit. So so this show is sponsored by that. So head over to that link and check that out. It just costs nothing to have a look at it. So let's get back into, speaking of paid ads, do you guys use an agency? And the other thing, the second part I want to get to before I forget is also your offers and how has that changed and how you target people now with your paid ads compared to before, if you're more on the e-commerce side of things now.
Yeah. Did you see my smile when you asked about agencies?
Yeah. What's going on there?
Oh man, in 5 years of running paid ads, we have hired and fired over a dozen agencies between Facebook, email, Google, yada yada yada. I don't know where to start, to be honest. I am by no means a Facebook ads expert. I have no formal training or experience in that realm. I'm 100% self-taught, outside of one course I took several years ago, which was incredible.
And it was Liam Brennan's. No, I'm kidding. It was not.
Yeah, it actually wasn't. But you know what? I have learned a lot from Liam. I have not taken his course, but I have followed him on social or been in one of his groups.
His Facebook group is huge.
Yeah. And this was early on too. This is when he was first getting started with the Facebook page. But yeah, I've taken a lot of his advice and included it in our ads. So yeah, he definitely knows what he's talking about. The first course was actually by another gentleman named Eric. His name is Eric Carlson. He now runs Sweatpants Agency. But
so plays for the San Jose Sharks.
Oh yeah, different
Eric Carlson. Okay,
yeah, different spelling. Far different personality as well. But no, that's the only training that I have was an online course through him, which was very very valuable. But somehow I have always managed to outperform any agency we've worked with by far. We've actually never worked with an agency aside from one, who I will plug if I'm allowed to.
Sure, go for it.
Brain fart here on what
are you talking about? Harbor, Steve?
Yeah, Harbor Marketing, Steve Krakauer. We used them for a while. They were the only agency we have ever worked with that was able to achieve a positive ROAS consistently with CPAs under our goal.
Yep.
Every other agency we have ever worked with has been negative ROAS every month we worked with them. The last agency we worked with, their average was a 0.54 return on ad spend. My average as an individual with no experience in this realm, or no traditional experience, I should say, I'm able to achieve positive ROAS. So it's always blown my mind when I'm paying an agency anywhere from, we've hired agencies as low as $1,500 and as high as $6,500.
Managing fees?
$500. Yeah, monthly retainer, management fees.
Yeah.
Some of those higher end ones included other things like creative or graphic design, things like that. But it's blown my mind over the years that somehow these agencies that charge this exorbitant fee cannot be profitable when somebody with no experience like myself can be. So yeah, we have had absolutely horrific experience with agencies, and I don't by any means want to steer anybody away from agencies. But here's what I would say to somebody just getting started or somebody who's considering using an agency. You need to first make sure that you understand enough about Facebook ads to vet them. Otherwise, you are throwing money out the window, because everybody and their mother today is a Facebook ads expert, a growth hacker, a digital marketing guru, a self-proclaimed, expert. So you need to understand the basics, and I would even say a little above that. You likely need to have a little experience doing it yourself, even on a small budget, just to understand how ads are built out, what a marketing funnel looks like. Otherwise, you're going to be completely lost on the call. You're not going to be able to vet them properly. It's going to be a complete shot in the dark, and you will very, very, very likely waste a lot of money. So go take Liam's course, take somebody's course, learn the basics prior to going the agency route. Again, I don't want to steer people away from agencies just based off of our experience, because I know plenty of not only subscription box founders, but e-commerce brand founders that have had massive success with agencies. We unfortunately have not had that luck, but again, I don't want to steer people away from it necessarily.
Yeah, you know
And
what?
at the end of the day, if you take the time to learn it ahead of time and you do have poor agency experiences like we've had, you can always take it back over yourself like I do, and manage it yourself and see what you can do on your own.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. And first of all, we've also been burnt big time, like wasted like literally tens of thousands of dollars on crappy agencies. Like, and not that I should say crappy. I got to be careful. Like it's just, you got to vet it, and it's tough because everyone's an expert. So you think you finally got this, okay, my gut feeling this time is going to be correct, or that I was trying to go for the cheaper option. And I think I talked about this on yesterday's recording with Cindy. Nick was like, well, I'm going to go this way because it's a little bit cheaper instead of going with something that I know is maybe proven. Or because with the podcast, people reach out and say, hey, we'll give you a cut on this, but it ends up still costing us and wasting money. Like the return, it was never good. And honestly, like I'm not just plugging Steve here. Like he's so far the only agency that we've worked with that has had a positive return. He's more expensive, but you get what you pay for, I guess. So I think pay now or pay later, people look at a sticker price, like, to beat Liam's course to the ground here, but like, $997, I think it is $997 US. So, $10,000 Canadian, kidding, but almost. But his course, say for like $1,000, right? You're going to blow that if, without this course, you might blow that in a month anyways with an agency like that, starting off. So, this will give you all the tools you need to do it yourself. Or at least know well enough, way more than the average person, that you're going to contact an agency that you'll be able to properly vet them, like you said. So, I mean, they are sponsoring the show. It's funny that we got into this, but it is a good thing. And Steve, of course, and Harbor are, you can plug him as well because they are sponsors of the show since day one as well. So,
yeah. And I mean, again, Steve's the only agency that we've ever worked with that gave a shit about the actual success of our brand, and B, performed at a positive, profitable return on ad spend.
I want to get into offers. Yeah, I want to get into offers. Okay. Just because, a lot of people are doing Facebook ads. Like right now, you're doing your own right now. What kind of offers are you guys doing? And is it to mostly target your e-commerce, or are you still trying to target a lot of subscription?
So we very rarely spend marketing dollars on advertising the subscription. We will advertise the subscription in paid media during high traffic gifting times. So Valentine's Day, Father's Day,
Christmas,
Hanukkah, kind of the all the December gifting holidays. That's about the only time we spend much money on the subscription. Thankfully, we've kind of become, well, I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword, but we've sort of become known as the subscription side of things. So we don't really need to tell people anymore. And the way that our website is set up, at least in my opinion, and from some of the kind of conversion rate tests we've run and Hotjar and all that, it seems like people can pretty quickly find what they're looking for, the way that our site's designed. So if they come to the site and they're looking for a one-off, they find the shop. If they're coming to the site and they're looking for a subscription, they find the subscription. Or if they come to the site, they've never been there before, they don't know who we are, pretty quickly they can figure out, okay, I have two options. I can buy individual pairs, or I can go subscribe to the Stock of the Month Club, save some money. So we try and basically run offers that will get people to the website to learn about us at top of funnel. And then we run offers at middle of funnel and bottom of funnel, directing people to whatever they've been viewing. So if they're, viewing the subscribe page or the subscription page, we'll send them to an offer for the subscription. If they've spent a bunch of time in the shop, in our different collections, we will send them offers specifically for one-offs in the e-commerce store. But we test offers constantly.
You see this?
Yeah.
Here?
So So if you scroll down to the main hero image, or I guess we'll start at the top menu.
Sure. For those of you guys, and if you're listening, I apologize, but you guys can go and view this on YouTube after. But I'm just screen sharing his website here, so he's just going to kind of bring us through exactly what he's talking about. I figured it'd be nice to kind of follow here.
Yeah. So right there, top left, the first two menu items you're going to see, we've got shop and subscribe. So right there, just in the names of the menu items, it tells you we have two options. Then you hover over shop, it gives you those same options. The shop, here's all of our collections, or subscribe. You can subscribe for you or subscribe for a gift.
Cool.
And then if you scroll down to the main hero image buttons just a little bit.
Which one, sorry?
Scroll down just a little bit. Yeah, right there, your top two options: shop the collection, become a member. So relatively clear on, hey, you have two options here.
And is that you in the picture?
No, that is not. I do quite a bit of the modeling for the brand, but that specific photo shoot was not me.
Yeah, it's gonna have to take a back seat now that you got stitches from hockey last night.
Yeah, thankfully the face is always out of the shot. But yeah, as far as offers go, man, I would say we don't go the conventional route. We constantly test new offers, but we never turn off the ones that work. I feel like a lot of people.
So what does it look like? Sorry, what does it look like for an offer for like compared to like, because subscription, you got to be pretty aggressive. Yes. Just because it's harder for someone to subscribe than to get a one-off, right?
Right. Yeah, you need to be aggressive while maintaining margin. And I think a mistake that a lot of people make is, if I can get somebody in on a first purchase, then they're going to stick around for whatever my lifetime of a subscription customer is. And that makes up for the $30 we gave off on the first box, or the 50% we gave off on the first box. But what they don't take into account is other costs, such as acquisition costs, fulfillment costs, and credit card processing, and all these things. They just go off gross margin. And you may end up actually losing money, breaking even. But so aggressive without thinning your margin completely out or too much. And aggressive doesn't necessarily have to be aggressive in savings. It can sound aggressive. It can sound enticing without giving away the house. We often offer, $5 off your first order. And that generally incentivizes people to buy one pair to try. One pair, $22 minus $5, you're paying $17 for that first pair. We still make a profit on that first pair, but it's that big. We'll just call it break even. Our goal with that offer is they buy a pair. This is for the people that have been browsing, been looking, have not pulled the trigger. They need that incentive. Those people most likely are concerned with the price, have not tried the product. So we take that hit on that first order for them to go buy a pair and essentially break even, so that they can try it, find out they love them, and come back to us. Most of our other offers, that offer is literally designed for that person that we know is interested in the product but is afraid to pull the trigger because of the price and not getting to try them on. We know that $5 off coupon is most likely going to be used on a single pair purchase. We know that we're not making money there. The goal there is to get a new customer in the door and try the product, and then follow up with them for a repeat purchase. Every other offer that we run is an average order value based offer. So it's a buy X amount, save X amount. And these we can get aggressive with because we know our margins, and we can control the average order value of that coupon. So our biggest offer running right now is a free bonus pair. We run the same code. It's either a free bonus pair with your first subscription. So whether you sign up monthly, annual, semi-annual, whatever, you get a free pair with your first box. That's to lock people into subscription. That's a buy one, get one free deal. That's an aggressive offer, right, to the customer. They're like, oh, I'm getting two for the price of one. We also run that same free pair order for those who don't want to subscribe on the e-commerce side, and it's a buy 3, get the 4th free. So we're guaranteeing a minimum order value of $66 on that first order, and we're throwing in a free pair to get there. Nice. Again, pretty aggressive. People are excited about that offer, but we're guaranteeing a $66 minimum AOV, making sure that our margin and our acquisition costs are built into that deal. And then once we have customers on the hook, they've tried our product, they've expressed their interest in how much they like them, how much they love the quality and the fit and all of that, we'll get more aggressive with our minimum order value on offer. So we'll run a 20% off 200, a 25% off 300. And that pulls people in that have tried the product, love the product, but maybe don't love the price point to say, well, hey, I can save 30%. But I have to spend 300. But I know that I love these socks and I know they last and I know I'm going to wear these for years. So why not stock up right now? And it's kind of like an everybody wins situation.
Love it. No, it's good stuff. I think, what kind of ads are you guys doing right now? Is it mostly video, pictures, and what kind of imagery, if you don't mind sharing, that's working for you guys on the paid ad side of things?
Yeah, so I would say that our experience with ads is not the norm. A lot of the times, the trends that are going around that everybody's talking about are working so well for them, don't for us. And then when they stop working for them, they start to work for us. So constantly testing different things. Right now, I am running a few videos. We have very, very strong creative as far as images and videos go. Very, very high quality, very well styled, very attention grabbing. So we've actually been able to have success with standard images and an enticing caption. We also have some unique things about us, like 97+% of our reviews are 5-star. So we'll use something like that as a, pull you in kind of first line in the ad, or we'll throw it in a text overlay on the image. We've actually invested quite a bit of money into video over the past 6 or 7 months. And they have not worked out for us very well on Facebook ads. I think they might have just been a little too long, a little too drawn out. So we're actually working on cutting those down to try and run them again. I'm also going to take the originals that I ran at top of funnel and try and move them to middle of funnel and see if they perform a little better there, because we're getting good enough click-through rates on our image ads top of funnel. So see if that's just little things that we'll test for a small period. I produced these videos. I thought they were great. I thought they were going to perform really well. They didn't. Well, I'm not just going to throw them out. We spent thousands of dollars on these ads. We'll find a way to repurpose them. We'll find a place that they will work. We'll find something to do with them to drive traffic. But
how long were they when you said they were too long?
Say it again.
How long were they when you said they were maybe running a bit too long? Were they 30 seconds, a minute?
Yeah, we had one that was about a minute. We had 2 versions of that one, actually. We had a 60-second and a 90-second. And then we had another ad that was about 45 seconds. So we're trying to chop everything down to sub 30 and see if that works a little bit better and still gets the message across. But I would say the most successful ads that we run are strong images with text overlay and very thoughtful text overlay, something that we know the customer cares about, a review that hits on 2 or 3 points that is a general pain point for our customers or those who wear dress socks without being super lengthy. Hitting on the 97% 5-star reviews or the 2,600+ 5-star reviews, things that we know people care about. We're pretty, that's what we focus on the text overlay. But if you talk to an agency or a Facebook ad expert, they're going to tell you video at top of funnel, or limit text overlay. And for whatever reason, for us, those text overlay images work quite well.
Yeah. And it's funny because they say if it's almost too advertising, right? And that's why they don't perform well sometimes. But yeah, it's great that you say that, because that's why everything's worth testing, I think, right?
Agreed. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, or at least I believe I did, our audience is older than most people would probably anticipate and older than I expected it to be when I started this business. So some of the things that that work nowadays so well for other brands that are targeting a younger generation aren't going to work for us.
Yeah.
I think because our generation is my target market is an older generation, they're used to that super advertising,
Yeah.
content. That's what they grew up with.
Yeah.
So it doesn't scare them away. But if I throw up a 15-second, TikTok reel style ad, they're gonna blow right by it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas for other brands that are targeting more of the millennial and Gen Z generations, yeah, that's what they need to be doing. They need to be following all these trends and keeping up with the times and whatever. And we seem to have more success with just simple looking advertisements.
Yeah. You got to know who your customer is, man. That's important.
Yeah,
I
you
think
really
that's,
do. It's
yeah.
super, super important.
Yeah, I'm curious about marketing when it comes to athletes. You're a sports guy. You're in Dallas. There's a lot of sports teams, whether it's the Mavericks or the Stars or the Cowboys. I mean, whatever. It's endless, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever reached out to, like, say, a Jamie Benn and say, "Hey, here's a pair of socks," like, or anything like that, or no?
Yeah, Jamie, if you're listening, check your DMs on Instagram. Yeah, man. When I first got the business off the ground, I DM'd quite a few athletes, and I didn't just go down the list of the top athletes and have a standard message of, hey, this is what we do, this is who I am, let me give you some socks. I put true thought into every one of the people that I reached out to and the message that I sent. And I tried to, like with Jamie, for example, I said, hey, man, huge fan, moved to Dallas a few years ago, became a Stars season ticket holder. I've actually played hockey since I was, 5 years old. My dad's 66 years old. He still plays hockey. My brother plays hockey. We're a hockey family. I'd love to give you a bunch of free socks, no obligation to post, no, official sponsorship, nothing that can get you in trouble with your other sponsors. Just something to take, those game day suits up a notch. Let me know if you're interested. Of course, Jamie's Instagram inbox is overflowing daily with people reaching out about all sorts of different things. So he never saw it to my knowledge. And I did that with quite a few different players. I even tried to do it with up and coming players, some of the guys that were on,
the rookies, man. They need to.
Yeah. No, I'm talking World Juniors guys.
Oh, cool.
And people that are, draft prospects, but are still in Bantams, or playing juniors or whatever. I tried it primarily with hockey players because that's my bread and butter. I did reach out to a few other athletes and some golfers and things like that. It's very hard to get a hold of them. You really do kind of need a PR agency for that. But sometimes things kind of fall into place. And sometimes you're sitting on the couch next to your brother on a random weekend that he happens to be in town watching a hockey game, and you see an order for one of your favorite players of all time come across the screen.
Cool.
So yeah, we got an order from Joe Pavelski a few weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
And we've had, ironically enough, some like funny celebrity names come across, and it's very hard to verify if it's them, right? So I've had like Bernie Sanders place orders, but no way to verify if it's which Bernie, So I hit him up on Instagram, and I sent him a note with his order, just thanking him for supporting the brand, kind of telling him my story that I come from a hockey family and how cool it was to see his stuff come across. And he loves the socks, man. He's blasted them on social media for me, and it all came organically from my knowledge. So I know Jamie knows about the socks now. My buddy who's friends with a bunch of the Stars guys told me that Pavs has talked about him a little bit, and so I know a lot of the guys know about him. I'm hoping to get a few more guys on board here. I've actually become friends, mutual friends with, I believe he's the VP of operations of the Stars. So I've given him some socks. I've given some different staff members some socks. Yep. Just trying to get him on as many feet as possible, let the word spread. Pavelski actually gave a pair to Joe Thornton, which I thought was pretty cool. So he's rocking some. So yeah, I mean, we've not done the formal route of getting athletes in our socks, but just kind of by happenstance a few months ago, we were able to get them on a few athletes' feet, and we're kind of looking forward to hopefully getting them on some more.
Yeah, if anything else, it's just cool to know if, especially if like you're a fan of these players, right? Like Joe Pavelski's like a a legend, probably, especially for,
Yeah.
well, maybe for the California guys, but especially now that he's in Dallas, right? He's doing so well there, and he's got kind of
Yeah.
like his rebound season. He's a great player. He's probably the best in front of the net. He's tips like no one else. Like
Oh, he's incredible. That
yeah,
white stick,
that's
he just
yeah,
knocks everything down. Yeah.
everything down. Yeah, he still works on it like every practice. He'll
Oh
stick
yeah.
around and he'll tip pucks for like, I don't know how long it is, 10, 15
Yeah.
minutes after every practice. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's cool. Like I said, I he placed an order on his own, and then I sent him some socks just to say thank you, and I included that note in there. And then he blasted on social, and I went on and thanked him and said, hey, you didn't have to do that. That wasn't what this was for. I just wanted to thank you and give you some socks to give out to your buddies, keep for yourself, whatever you want to do. I said, but I really do appreciate it. And him and I kind of started chatting back and forth a little bit. We know a couple of mutual friends. I got a buddy who's a rep for Warrior, and he knows a lot of the NHL guys. And so, yeah, just kind of talking about that. And then a few weeks later, I was at a Stars game, and Pavs scored the game winner in a shootout against, I believe, the Pens. And then the following, or not even the following week, I think that was a Tuesday or Wednesday game. And then that Friday, they had another game, and he had his career high, 5-point game. And so I messaged him and said, hey, I was there, got to see it, like, congratulations. And we're just kind of shooting the shit back and forth. So it's
That's
pretty
cool.
cool, man.
Yeah.
It was definitely a highlight of this business. And I told him that. I was like, look, man, I've been around this business for 7 years, and seeing your name come across, being a fan of yours my whole life was one of the coolest moments. And so yeah, pretty cool
Networking
stuff.
101, man. Like, I think, there's no harm in doing it. Sometimes just that exchange of product and the goodwill, but also not mass messaging. Probably the key takeaway from the whole thing there is Kevin didn't go out of his way to just mass message everyone, create one message and shoot it to everyone. You got to be specific, about every person, and intentional about the person you're trying to reach out to, and write something customized. If you're not too familiar, if you don't have celebrities that you can reach out to, like in our niche, I don't know who would be, like, we're moms, right? But if it's a specific influencer we're trying to get a hold of, we'll kind of do some research on them, read some of the blogs they've actually put out there, and just, it's time consuming because you might not get any return on that, but it's just part of it. And that goodwill, I think, goes far, and it's going to come back at some point. So
I mean, think about it from your standpoint as a founder, as a business owner. How often do you receive DMs or emails from influencers or agencies, and you can tell it was a copy and paste job?
Or they write your name wrong. They write my names wrong. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Do you even take the time to respond? I don't.
Yeah.
If I can tell that it was not created personally for me and my brand, I'm not responding. The only time I do is if it is so bad, so obviously scripted, or they spell my name wrong, or they have the wrong company name in there somewhere. I'll respond just to put them on blast and be like, yeah, the wrong business, or who is that?
Yeah. It's not petty. They need to know. Yeah.
Oh no, it's petty, and I don't care. Sometimes it's one of those days, man. Your inbox is just overflowing, and you're having a long one, and then you get something that's like, hey, Steve, at
that's bad.
At mattress, subscription.com. We've been trying to and I'm just like, who is Steve? And we sell socks. Go away,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, point being, make it personal. Don't just blast out one message to a million different people, because it's not going to resonate with hardly any of them. Make it personal if you are going to try and reach out that way. If there's an email or an agent or anything like that, always try and go that route over a DM, because a DM for an athlete or a celebrity is going to get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I think if you can somehow get the address, just send them a box too. Like we've looked, and sometimes people will actually have an address. It might just be like their warehouse, especially with the moms. Like we reached out to Carrie Price's wife multiple times. I think it's Angela Price, and she has actually website like there's an address there. We've sent stuff. It never came back, but it was intentional, written notes in there. It is what it is. Like, I think you just got to keep kind of having, putting out the good faith, and at some point something might stick, or it might not. But I think I was just kind of curious, especially with the socks, and there's so many athletes that wear them, because especially hockey players, because they dress up to get to the games and stuff. And it's kind of a cool niche. I never thought of golfers, but it's a cool one too. But
yeah, dude, I would actually love to get into, making athletic socks specifically for hockey and
I
for
wrote this in
golf.
here, but I want to keep this for the post show because we're gonna kind of wrap things up on this side of things, and we're gonna go
Okay.
into the post show wrap up. So I failed to mention it, and I should always say this. So if you're not a Locals member yet, head over to the subscription boxshow.locals.com and go in there and support us. You get exclusive content, you get exclusive videos like the one we're about to go into right now for the post show wrap up. So head over there. If you're not a member yet, you can join for free, or you become a supporter and get additional exclusive items as well. So the subscription boxshow.locals.com. We're going to say goodbye for now, Steve, and we're going to head over to the post show wrap up where we're going to be talking about your worst experience with agencies without naming them, hopefully, and maybe your best experiences, some red flags, and also maybe about some hockey talk and socks and athletic stuff that I had kind of written down to talk about. So thanks for doing this, man, on this side of the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe, like, follow us there. If you're on listening to this on iTunes or Spotify, same thing. Just hit that subscribe button. It helps a lot with the downloads and with the those algorithms there, whatever they are. So we'll see you on the post show wrap up for local supporters and members. Cheers for now. Thanks.